Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Infinite Ability Podcast. I am your host, Nick Earhart, and we are here to encourage each other to find our own unique abilities. Let's go. All right, everyone. So today we have Bryan Clayton, and this guy's done a lot. I know a little bit about him, and I can't wait to learn more. So, Bryan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me on your show, Nick. It's great to be here. I am CEO of a company called GreenPal, and GreenPal is a mobile app that works kind of like DoorDash or Instacart, but for lawn mowing services. So if you have a yard, there's grass growing outside, somebody has to mow it. You don't feel like mowing it, just like you don't feel like going and getting your Chinese food maybe one night. You can use GreenPal the same way. You can put your address in, and somebody will come mow your yard for you the very next day at a good price.
That's really awesome, and I actually have a lot of experience in the lawn care industry. I worked for a couple of years, and I still go help them on the side when they need it. So, and then in return, they mow my lawn. So
fantastic! That worked out good.
Yeah, I used to spend like 3.5 hours a week on mowing, and I was like, why am I doing this? I know it doesn't cost a whole lot, and it's like my time is more valuable. So I called him up. I was like, hey, will you give me a discount? He's like, sure. So I'm like, all right, awesome. So yeah, they take care of it.
Creative solutions. I love it.
Exactly. And where all are you located? Like, where can people get the app and use it?
Yeah, so GreenPal started just in Nashville, Tennessee, where I live. We spent 4 years just in Nashville trying to make the app work reliably. So when a homeowner signed up, they got quotes, they hired somebody, they came out and did a good job, pushed another button, and they come out every week. It took 4 years to figure out. And then after that, we started slowly launching it into other cities, little by little, went from like one city every couple of months to one city a week. And now we're nationwide in the United States. So any city or town in the United States with over 20,000 people, you can use the app to get lawn mowing done.
I might have to check to see if we can get it here, because that'd be really cool. And I know a lot of lawn care businesses, so if they're not using your app, I could put in the word so they can use it.
Well, that's great. We're always looking for good pros that want to grow their business to do it on top of our platform. So that would be awesome.
Yeah, and that's what I like about your platform is you're helping them grow. You're not just helping yourself. You're helping your clients.
That's exactly right. That's really why we exist. We offer a nice convenience to homeowners. They can push a button and get this chore done. But where we really try to have impact is the small business owner that is just trying to hustle and grow their business, that doesn't know how to maybe run a marketing plan, or isn't the best at bookkeeping, or isn't the best at systems. Our platform is set up to be kind of like a business in a box for them, where they plug in, they get all the customers they want, all the route is handled in one place for them, and they don't have to worry about all of these things that go into running a business. They just show up, do a good job for their clients, and they get paid within 24 hours.
That's amazing. And do you have like a criteria for the businesses? Like, do they have to be so big?
Yeah, well, we prefer smaller the better. So awesome. The bread and butter of the service provider on GreenPal is a one person show, is Molly in a mower or Peter in a pickup, because that's really where our platform can help these folks. They don't have, like I mentioned earlier, the modern business systems. And so they just show up, they do a good job for their customers, and then GreenPal handles the rest for them. So really smaller, the better. Once a company gets like 2 or 3 employees, 5 or 10 employees, a couple of trucks going out, they kind of have their own systems and their own way of doing things. And so they kind of have to carve out a section of their business for GreenPal, and that sometimes can work, but not all the time. So the sweet spot is somebody who maybe has been in the business for a year, has the right equipment, has maybe 10 or 20 customers, but they want 100. They want 100 customers, and they don't know how to get there. And so that's where GreenPal comes in. GreenPal helps them grow from 10, 20 customers to 100 or 200. And to get started, you just have to have the right equipment. You have to have a couple of customer references, and then you go through this kind of audition period on the platform where your first 5 or 10 customers are really important, that you show up and do a good job for them, that they rate you, and that they hire you for ongoing services. That's really heavily scored in the early days of a lawn business. And then from there, they kind of work their way out of that audition phase, and then they have kind of some more leeway in terms of how to operate their business on our platform.
Awesome. And do you guys provide like any training or anything like that?
It's a good question. We look at ourselves as almost like a coach in their pocket. And so
I like that.
the thing is like, nobody teaches any of us how to run a small business. Nobody teaches us things like basic customer service, being proactive with your communication with your customers, following up, after you do a service for somebody, following up with them maybe, a week later and saying, hey, did you like the service? Would you like ongoing visits? Because you're going to need it every week. And so nobody teaches anybody how to do this stuff. And it seems obvious, but it's really not. We're not taught this stuff in high school or college. So it's our platform's job to, at key moments, send you an email, send you a push notification, maybe a pop-up in the app to say, hey, you mowed Mrs. Smith's yard last week. She doesn't have any set up with you. Let's go ahead and reach out to her now. Or, hey, you just got done mowing Mr. Jones's yard. He's going to need shrubs. He's going to need seeding. He's going to need mulch. Go ahead and quote those while you're on the property. So then he has that available and he can hire you for those services as well. So kind of being like a coach in your pocket, holding you accountable to proactively communicate and upsell, because when the lawn care provider wins, the platform prospers as well.
Yep. And it's always good to have a reoccurring customer versus just a one-off. That's when you can get that reoccurring revenue. You're more consistent, and your business does a lot better.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of an unspoken thing in the lawn care business, and probably almost every home services business, like the house cleaning business is kind of like this way as well. If you hire somebody to come mow your yard one time, the service provider doesn't make any money on that.
No.
Because they got to drive out to your property. Odds are it's not fit into a route. They don't know the yard, so they have to familiarize themselves with it. Odds are the last lawn guy disappeared, so it's probably 2 feet tall. The edges are overgrown. There's weeds all in the beds. So it's like that first visit is almost a lost leader.
It's awful.
Yeah.
I remember, whenever we did a new yard, it was awful every time.
That's right.
And if you can get that customer as a reoccurring client, you start to learn how to mow it right and how to do it quickly, but still make it look good. So
exactly.
I know what you're saying. That first visit, you're losing no matter what.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of these things that a small business owner does on good faith to try to get the ongoing business. And so we had to tweak the platform around that, because when we first launched it, we've been doing this for a little over 10 years. When we first launched it, homeowners were using it in that way. They would just say, okay, well, my kid's going to do it, but if he doesn't feel like doing it, I'll just go in there and just order a lawn mowing service. And in a perfect world, the industry could work that way, but for all the reasons we just said, it just doesn't. You really need to get set up on a every week or at minimum every 2 week schedule. And so that's kind of how the system is built.
Yeah, I know when I contacted the company that does my lawn about, mowing lawn, I was like, just make it convenient for you. Just when you're in the area, just stop and mow. And, because I know how it is. It's like, if you're not in the area, it's just more fuel, more time, and more money.
That's right. If you have to drive more than 5 or 10 minutes, you've lost money on that stop. It's a really challenging business for these providers. The margins are thin. The costs are always going up. And just because your costs are going up doesn't mean that consumers are willing or able to pay the additional price. So you're always looking for ways to be more efficient, and cut waste out of the business.
Yeah. And now, like where I'm at, I'm located in Minnesota. So most of the lawn care companies also do snow removal. Do you guys cover that also?
It's funny you asked that. We built that about 4 years ago, and we thought, okay, it just makes sense. 90% of lawn care services also do snow removal, especially in the northern states. So let's just build on this kind of adjacent service along with the lawn mowing, and it'll be easy. It'll take us 2 months. That was 4 years ago. We're still ironing out kinks in the system around bolting on snow removal. And the thing that we learned is that every one of these home services, whether it be home cleaning, pool service, lawn mowing, snow removal, you name it, they all have 100 different problems. And so we feel like we have it good now. We have it in a place where it works just as good as the lawn mowing, but it's been so much more work than we ever anticipated, because the snow removal business, just because the same guy or gal is doing both, they operate completely different.
Yeah.
And so the short answer is yes, you can use GreenPal to order a snow removal service. Long answer is it's been a long way to get here.
Well, and it's a lot harder because like grass grows pretty consistently, but snow, you never know.
You don't know when it's coming. You don't know how thick. You don't know if it's ice. You don't know if it's just fluffy snow. You don't know if you're going to be able to get there in time. By the time you show up, it may be melted off and they don't want you anymore. You really don't know how much it's going to cost, and nobody wants to sign up for an open-ended hourly thing. It's a lot of different moving parts.
It is. I get that. And it seems like the weather guys don't usually know what they're talking about anymore. Don't know why, but yeah, I live in Minnesota, so it's like sometimes we get, hit really hard. And like this year, we've only got like 2 snowfalls that really you needed to shovel.
Wow.
And it's just
there's
like
that too. A lot of times if you're an operator in the snow removal business, you're pre-purchasing salt and calcium chloride and things like that, and you're sticking it in your garage somewhere or in a shed, and you could buy thousands of dollars of this material and not ever use it. And so there's that element to it as well. It's a tricky business, a snow removal business. Yes, you can use GreenPal to get that chore done as well, but it has been 100 times harder than we ever thought it would be.
Well, hopefully over time you'll keep figuring it out, which I know you will. You've been doing this a while, and it sounds like you really got into more of the tech side of things. Is that correct?
Yeah. So my first business was a landscaping business. I started mowing grass and when I was a teenager, and stuck with that business all through high school, all through college, and then built it into a real business over about a 15-year period of time, and ended up selling it. So after I sold that company, I took some time off and decided, okay, what do I want to do now? And this was right about the time Uber was getting rolling. Like, Uber was maybe in 1 or 2 cities, but I was in San Francisco for a conference, and I used Uber for the first time. And like a light bulb went off in my head. I thought, this is incredible. I can just order this service and it actually happens from my phone. That was a new thing. And I thought, well, somebody's going to do this for lawn mowing. Might as well be me. And so I had the industry experience. I guess I had the idea. I wasn't the only one to have the idea, but it struck me as a good idea. But I didn't know the first thing about how to build software. I had never built a website. I had never written a line of code. I didn't even know HTML or anything like that. And I thought, well, we could just outsource the software. And so I told 2 friends about the idea. They said, I'll start that business with you tomorrow. That sounds like a great idea. And so the 3 of us started working on it. We didn't know how to code. We paid a development shop to build the first version of the app. And that was a disaster. That took like a year of our life and all of our savings. And so that we had to learn the hard way that if we were going to be in the tech business, we were going to have to learn how to code. We were going to have to learn how to build software. And so it took another year. We taught ourselves how to code, and we rebuilt the whole thing. And now 10 years later, we're still iterating and improving that foundation we built a decade ago, and doing it with our own knowledge on our own hands.
Yeah. And I like that you're doing it. You're making it better and better. And you know as well as I do, in the tech industry, you gotta be on top of it basically weekly sometimes because things change so fast.
It's almost it almost causes me anxiety how fast things change. And it's like one of my favorite quotes is a Jeff Bezos quote, and he says the thing that I like about the customer is that they are always discontent, and that today's breakthrough is tomorrow's old news. And it's like that with technology, especially these days with everything going on with AI. You think you have the best technology out there, and then 6 months later it's obsolete. So we're always making it better, always looking for ways to make it faster, quicker, cheaper, smoother, listening to our customers, letting them tell us everywhere that it needs help, it needs improvement, and rinse and repeat. And we'll be doing this another 10 years.
Yep, that's awesome. And can you tell the listeners, both the consumers and the business owners, how they can get signed up?
Yeah, just go to greenpal.com, or just Google GreenPal in Google. As a consumer, just hit the orange button in the middle of the screen. You'll get free quotes. You'll get 5 free lawn mowing quotes from lawn care services nearby you. And then as a service provider, just scroll to the bottom and click apply as a vendor. And then it's really quick to sign up.
That's awesome. I like what you're doing, and I told you, I've got experience in it, so it's really cool to talk to you and see what you're doing.
You know the pain. You have the scars.
Yeah, it's a hard job.
It's a hard business, and we're out here just trying to make it a little easier for providers, making it suck a little less, and making it super convenient for homeowners.
Yep, I like that. So thank you for what you're doing. And I gotta ask you, so my slogan is your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
Your abilities are infinite. What it means to me is I had to learn this when I started GreenPal. I was a blue collar landscaper. I would sharpen lawnmower blades at 5 o'clock in the morning with my crews to get the lawnmowers going. Sold that business, and then thought I wanted to be a tech entrepreneur, and I didn't have the title engineer. I didn't have the title designer. I didn't have the title web programmer. I didn't have the title data scientist. But I learned really quick that I could learn the 80-20 of all of these things just by going to YouTube University. And so I think what it means to me is to not believe your own BS. And just because you don't have a title for something doesn't mean you can't get in the trenches and get your hands dirty and start doing it. It's like that's the only bottleneck is your willingness to like sit down and grind and learn something to be able to do it yourself.
I agree with that 100%, and that's what I'm all about. Don't allow yourself to hold you back, and definitely don't allow others to hold you back.
Well said.
People will say you can't do things your whole life. I like to prove them wrong. I don't know about you, but I kind of have fun with it.
I love it. I love your attitude. I like your style.
Thank you. And then, what is a tip for a lawn care company that is, just getting started out? Maybe they're on their second year. What's a tip that you could give them that could really help them?
So my tip would be, you got to take one day a week and work on the business. So the problem is we all get stuck working in the business, in really in any business, but the lawn care business in particular. You wake up at dawn and you mow yards all day till dark, and then you're just exhausted. And the next thing you know, 5 years go by, and you're still like at the same amount of customers. You still have the same problems. You're still making the same money, and basically you just made yourself a job. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to grow a real business and not be self-employed, you need to take half a day or ideally an entire day a week. It could be a Saturday. It could be a Sunday, and work on the business and try to figure out, okay, what is the biggest like bottleneck in the business right now? And let me build a system or a process for that. Let me look for technology. Like maybe there's some software that I can implement in my business. It could be around employee training. It could be around marketing. It could be around bookkeeping. It could be around estimating and sales. Like just pick one of these things and spend the whole day a week working on it until you have that kind of taken care of. Then you can move on to the next thing. If you're not spending time working on the business, you're basically just going to stay self-employed, and that's okay. But if you want more, you need to set aside time to work on it.
Oh yeah. This episode of the Infinite Abilities podcast is brought to you by the one and only Infinite Toolbox, where just like all other toolboxes, we will get the job done, guaranteed. Whether you're an entrepreneur looking to save time, boost revenue, or automate your processes, Infinite Toolbox has got you covered. With powerful tools designed to drive leads, expand your reach, and gain your industry secrets, we help you work smarter, not harder. Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Visit us at infinitetoolbox.com. That's infinitetoolbox.com. And discover how infinite your potential really is. It is so true. Always follow up with your customers.
Absolutely.
That's something that a lot of business owners that I've seen, they don't follow up. They just do a job and think it's good. It's like, follow up, see how they are, see if they like your work, and see how you can improve so then you can get more clients.
Exactly. I think it was, I can't remember what actor said it, but like 99% of success is showing up. That's part of showing up is following up, is keeping a list of, okay, maybe here's all the people I worked with this week. And then Saturday afternoon, you follow up with every one of them. And then as time goes on, you can automate a lot of these things. You can automate the follow-up. There's tools that you can buy off the shelf that'll do that for you, but you need to hand crank it first and then start looking for the ways to automate it.
Yep, that's exactly what I help my clients with is automate everything you can. Because it makes it so much better on you and your customers.
We're going to start seeing a lot of 7-figure and 8-figure business owners that are 1- and 2-person operations, because of the tools available to us today to be able to automate and just kind of put a lot of these things on autopilot.
Yep, I agree. All right, Bryan, this was really awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having me on, Nick. I enjoyed it.
If you enjoyed this show, please go ahead and share it on your Instagram story and tag me in it, the Nick to Your Heart. Also, go ahead and share it anywhere else that you see fit, because the only way that I can grow this is by you guys sharing it. I don't sell anything on here. I don't have any sponsors, so let's just get it out there by word of mouth and help more people. Alright, everyone, remember, your abilities are infinite.